Hello, everybody. Okay, so today we are starting a new unit, modeling with geometry. Excuse my appearance. I just got back from a run and needed to make all this stuff. Okay, so today we're talking about special angle pairs. So I'm doing this just straight up on notebook paper. So you go ahead and do the same. I'm going to make 2 columns. Okay, this is our special angle pairs notes, or these are our. And so in this column, there's going to be a description or a picture. So I'm doing this in like the least organized way possible. Okay, so we're going to have a description or a picture. Okay, and then in this column, we're going to have an example and an equation. Okay, so that's what's going to be in each little thing. So what we would have done in class is I would have had you guys make this cool little flip thing, but we're just gonna spare you that. Okay, so all right, so that's what's going to be on each side of this column. We're going to start with supplementary angles. Okay, so supplementary angles are angles that add up to 90 degrees. Okay, so that would be, I probably should pay attention to like how much space I'm using because this could be bigger than I thought. Okay, so they should add up to 90. So maybe this one's 25 degrees and this one's 65 degrees. But they add 65 and 25, 60 and 20 make 80, 5 and 5 and 10, 80 and 10 is 90. So we in total have a 90-degree angle right here. Why did I start with, this is complementary. I'm sorry. This is just, I'm so sorry. These are complementary angles. Okay, so again, complementary angles are angles that add up to 90 degrees. For example, 65 and 25 add up to 90. So maybe in an example problem, you would be given that one angle was 2x minus 3 degrees, and another angle was 3x minus 12 degrees, and that they combine to give us a 90-degree angle. And we would be asked to find the measure of each angle. Okay, and so if we were to do that, we would want to take these 2 angle measurements, so maybe we'd have this many degrees and that many degrees, and we want to add them together and set them equal to 90 so that we can solve the equation for x and sub that x back in to each of these little expressions for the angle measurements. So our equation is going to be our angle plus another angle equals 90. Okay, and so our first angle was 2x minus 3. Our second angle was 3x minus 12. We're adding those together. They should be equal to 90 degrees. 2 and 3x gives me 5x. Negative 12 minus 3 should give me negative 15. That equals 90. Add 15 to both sides. 90 plus 15 should give me 105, so I should get that 5x is equal to 105. I'm going to swing it over here, and I'm going to divide both sides by 5 so that my x should give me 21. Okay, now we're not done. It asked me to find my angles, okay, not just my x value, my angle measurements are these guys. So I have to take this x value and sub it back in to actually find my angle measurements. So I'm going to have 2 times 21, minus 3. 2 times 21 is 42. 42 minus 3 should give me 39 degrees. Okay, so that would be my first answer. Let me zoom in. And I will obviously post these so you guys can see everything afterwards. And then my other one would be 3 times 21 minus 12. And 3 times 21 would give me 63. 63 minus 12 should give me 51. Oh, why did I write 50? 51 degrees. Okay, so those are my two angle measurements right there, and those are my final answers. Okay. All right, so those are complementary angles. Now supplementary. Okay, angles are angles that add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so for example, so remember 180 degrees is a straight line. Maybe I have 130 degrees right here and 50 degrees right there. Oh, you can't see anything I just wrote. I apologize. Okay, so add up to 180. Maybe we have 130 right here, 150 right there. They add to make this straight line. And an example problem that you might see would maybe be that, so they would probably draw out two angles, 5x plus 6, 10x plus 24. Maybe they ask you this time just to find x instead of finding the angle measurements. Okay. So this time we know that these two add to 180 because we see that we have a straight line right here. So we take, oh, let me write out our equation. It's going to be our angle plus our angle equals 180. Okay, so we're going to have 5x plus 6, that's my first angle, plus 10x plus 24, that's my second angle, equals 180. 5 and 10x gives me 15x. 6 and 24 should give me 30. 180. Subtract 30 from both sides. So I get 15x equals 150. That's super nice because I can see that that's 15 is just a factor of 10 away from 150. So this gives me that x should be equal to 10. Okay. So that is our supplementary angle property. And last but not least, we have vertical angles. These are my favorite. It's just super useful. And so basically what we're doing here is we are learning these. These were all Math 2 concepts you should have from your previous class, but we're reviewing them because you guys will need them when we talk about triangle congruency. Okay, so you'll have to be able to tell why certain angles are congruent to others based on these rules. So I want you guys to make sure you know them. Today is pretty much a review day from Math 2. So our next one is vertical angles. I spelled vertical wrong, probably my entire first year of teaching. And no one told me. I'm a terrible speller, so it was bound to happen. There's probably another one out there that I've been spelling wrong forever. Okay, so vertical angles are angles that are directly across from one another. For example, these two angles are directly across from, again, I'm sorry. These two angles right here are directly across from one another. Also, these two angles are across from one another. So basically, if you have an X, the two right across from one another are going to be vertical angles. So they are across an intersection. Okay, and they're always equal. Okay, so vertical, oh, man, so many things in the way. Vertical angles are always across an intersection and they are always equal. Okay, so maybe this time you would be given, so we have two lines intersecting, make an X. We would be given maybe that this angle was 5x plus 18 and this angle was 3x plus 50. Okay, these are equal because they're vertical angles. Maybe the question asks us to find X. Our equation for this is going to be, sorry, I meant to put a colon there instead of an equal sign. Angle equals angle. Okay, so I'm going to set 5x plus 18 equal to 3x plus 50. Subtract 3x from both sides. So I should get that 5 minus 3 is 2x plus 18 equals 50. And I want to subtract my 18 from both sides to isolate my x term. 50 minus 18 might seem a little tricky at first, but just pretend like the 18 is a 20. Maybe 50 minus 20 would give me 30. But in reality, I'm subtracting 2 less, so I should have 32. Okay, then I divide by 2 on both sides. 32 divided by 2 should give me 16. Okay, so my x value there is 16. Okay, so the important thing for you guys to recognize here is vertical angles. Our equation is angle equals angle. Okay, so I'm going to highlight, let me zoom out a little bit so you guys can see everything. So my vertical angles will always have the equation angle equals angle. If I have two vertical angles, that should be what I have. If I'm looking at supplementary angles add to 180. My equation should always be angle plus angle equals 180. Okay, angles, adding them together. And then last, oh, that's not a highlighter. Lastly, complementary angles, or angles that add up to 90 degrees, should be angle plus angle equals 90. Okay, so we have three different types of angles here, and we have this general equation for each of them. I've done an example for each of them and put a definition in for each of them. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Good luck, and I miss you all, and I hope you're doing well. I'll see y'all later.